Hello, my insuperable friends. Thank you for tuning in. If you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing. It will definitely help the channel and also spread the word that we have a discussion community here talking about insurance in superannuation. It's been a busy 8 weeks. I have been on hiatus. Some of us are back in the office 100%. There's lots going on, certainly in the insurance world. In particular, APRA just announced the deferral of the individual disability income insurance related to Measure 3 on policy contract terms. The federal budget, the state budget, FSC Standard 26 in relation to consent forms being updated so that members are aware in which way their consent is being used to access their health information when they are being underwritten or applying to claim against their insurance. But today we are going to talk about what happens to insurance when you go on leave without pay. It is not as contentious for death and TPD, but for income protection, it is a little bit more complicated. So let me help you unpack what it means to your insurance cover when you go on leave without pay. But before we get into that, let's first of all clarify the difference between insurance cover and insurance benefit. Often these two words are interchanged by people who don't necessarily work in insurance. Insurance cover is the protection that you get from your insurance when you are injured or ill, whereas insurance benefit is the actual dollar value that you will receive in case you need to claim against that policy. If you don't have insurance cover, then there's no insured benefits. Hope that makes sense. Now, before we go into an example of a timeline, it's important to note that when you're going on leave without pay, you must contact your fund administrator to let them know that you're intending to go on leave without pay and therefore you want to continue your insurance cover. When you do that, they will continue to deduct insurance premiums from your super account balance and pay the insurer to ensure your cover continues. As I alluded before, the continued cover for your death and TPD arrangements is not as difficult to comprehend. However, it is a little bit more complicated for income protection cover because the role of your income protection is to provide your replacement income while you're on a claim. But if you are on unpaid leave, then there is no income loss to replace. Let's look at two scenarios to demonstrate what happens to your income protection cover whilst you're on leave without pay. Scenario 1. If you choose to continue your income protection cover whilst on leave without pay. If your policy provides the following design features: benefit period 2 years, waiting period 90 days, leave without pay period 12 months. Assuming your employer has approved your unpaid leave for 12 months and the 1st of January is a public holiday, your leave will commence on the 2nd of January and your intended date of return is not until the 2nd of January the following year. If you sustained an injury or illness during your unpaid leave, in this instance, we're using the 1st of April as an example, the commencement of your 90-day waiting period will start. It will expire on the 30th of June. If you were not on unpaid leave, you would have been eligible for your first insurance benefit payment from this date. However, because at the time of your injury you were not earning an income, there is no income loss to replace. The same conditions will apply for the months of July, August, September, October, November, and December. However, if you are unable to return to work on the 2nd of January the following year, which was your intended date of return, and you're still injured or ill, then as long as your condition is medically validated, you should be eligible for income protection insurance benefits from that date onwards. Okay, let's have a look at scenario 2. Scenario 2 is if you choose not to continue your income protection cover whilst you're on leave without pay. And again, we're assuming we have the same policy design that applied in the previous scenario. In other words, your benefit period's 2 years, 90-day wait, and 12 months leave without pay. This is what it might look like. Assuming on the 1st of January it is a public holiday and you commence your leave on the 2nd of January, your intended date of return is not until the 2nd of January the following year. If you sustained an injury or illness during your unpaid leave, and in this example we're using 1 April, the commencement of your 90-day waiting period will start. It will expire on the 30th of June. Again, if you are not on unpaid leave, you would have been eligible for your first insurance benefit payment from this date. However, because at the time of your injury you were not earning an income, there is no income loss to replace. The same conditions will apply for the months of July, August, September, October, November, and December. If you are unable to return to work on the 2nd of January the following year, which was your intended date of return, and you're still injured or ill, you will not receive any income protection insurance benefits, even if your medically validated condition. And more importantly, if you do eventually recover and are unable to return to work after your intended date of return, you will be required to provide satisfactory evidence of good health and other information before the insurer can provide you with cover again. Be aware that while you're on leave without pay, you're actually not contributing anything to your super, and therefore insurance premiums will continue to be deducted from an account balance that is not growing because it's not receiving any contributions. I hope that made sense to you. Please drop me a line if I've left you with any questions. I'd be more than happy to respond. Thank you again for tuning in, and I hope you'd consider subscribing. See you again in the next video.